Facilities that make this program possible are provided by the City of Highland Park. Programs are produced independently by members of the community. The City of Highland Park is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of the City of Highland Park.
Hi, I'm Joyce of the Highland Park Senior Producers, and today we have a repeat guest who's just wonderful, so we had her back again. She's a world traveler, and she's been to 50 countries and to India 3 times, and today she's going to talk about India with you. And it's Miriam Greenblatt. Hello, Miriam. Glad to have you again.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we're going to start now. We're going to talk all about India, and your first trip was about 30 years ago, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, and she's going to show you some pictures of different areas.
Well, no, actually, I want to show the map of India.
Okay, this is the map of India. All that is India? That whole picture?
That
Looks
page.
like African continent. It's so big.
Well, it's about half the size of the 48 states.
Oh, and it's a democratic country.
Yes,
also.
they have national elections.
Yeah, which is
their premier.
unusual in that area of the world, sort of, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the, now what is this, the map of India?
This is the map of India, and I'd just like to point out the areas where I visited. The first one was Rajasthan, which is about here. It's the northwestern and north central area. The second area that I visited was Kerala, which is down here,
At the tip.
southwest coast of India. And the third area was Gujarat, which is the far western section of India. And part of my first trip involved going from Allahabad down the Ganges River to Varanasi. So that shows where I've been. Okay?
Okay, what year was that, like 30?
That was 30 years ago, so that's 1987.
Oh, good, very good. And some cities, I guess. No, Bombay, that's a city, correct?
Mumbai now.
Yeah, it's Mumbai. But they've changed their names. Why is that, some of the cities?
When they they gained their independence from Great Britain in 1947. They changed a lot of the names back to the original Indian or Hindi
I see.
pronunciation and
because,
spelling.
Also, you said Bombay and...
Bombay is now Mumbai, and something like Calcutta is Kolkata.
Oh, I didn't even know about Calcutta having a different name.
But Delhi is still Delhi.
Delhi, new and old? What's the difference between
Well, the old Delhi, just plain Delhi, was the first one settled, and then a different invasion took place and a different empire was set up, and they built New Delhi.
I see.
But people generally say Delhi.
Yeah,
And
Delhi.
they really, they don't bother with the new.
New and the old, not like North and South Korea, right?
No.
A little different. You wrote
Yes,
about that
they
too,
are.
a few months ago. Okay.
So-
And all right, so you want to talk about the first place you went to, your trip there?
Yeah. Yes, the first place I'm glad I took it when I did, because I wouldn't have the physical energy
Oh.
to do the same things
Nobody
now that
does,
I
I
did
don't think.
30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I went to Delhi and Agra, of course,
Oh,
to
Agra, right.
to see the Taj Mahal.
Okay.
And I'll tell you about that in a few minutes.
Okay.
And then I went west from Delhi. I went for a camel ride for 4 days.
This was the first trip, so.
The first trip
Yeah.
across the Thar Desert.
Oh, how was it sitting on a camel?
Well, you had to wear woolen underpants,
So
and
as
they
not to
put,
feel it, you mean?
and then they put a pillow on the saddle,
Oh.
and then you could only ride for 1 hour,
Oh.
and then you had to walk for an hour
Oh, my goodness.
because it hurts.
Oh.
I mean,
And it doesn't hurt the camel, though. Probably they're
no,
used
camel
to it.
is just
Anybody.
yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
And how
then
long was that trip?
that was 4 days crossing the desert.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we stopped at different
Was it
villages.
real hot also?
Moderately,
Oh,
not
okay.
overwhelmingly.
You hear desert, you think of heat. I do anyway. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was okay.
Yeah.
And then we went to the Ajanta and Ellora caves on the northwest coast. These are a series of about 50 or so caves, which are all the walls have statues in front of them. So you just go from one cave to the next and see the different statues that they have there. And it's quite impressive and
I'm
very
sure.
interesting.
Yeah.
And then we went to Allahabad, and we got on a small, well, maybe you should call it a large rowboat,
Oh my gosh.
and we rode down the Varanasi River.
Were you scared?
I mean, down
Were
the
you afraid
Ganges
at all,
River to Varanasi. Varanasi is where the Buddha developed Buddhism.
Oh.
And that was very interesting
Oh,
because.
yeah. Were you on a tour or?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we stopped again at the villages along the way. And in one place we saw a cremation ceremony.
Oh.
The husband, well, the widower now, was, they built a pyre of wood, and they put the corpse in the center.
Oh.
And then he walks around it several times. Then he lights a torch and lights the wood, and the body is cremated.
Oh.
Because the Hindus believe that the spirit survives, but the body is not important.
Oh.
So.
But they believe in reincarnation also,
Yes, usually. Sometimes you can avoid being reincarnated and get salvation immediately.
right? Oh.
But generally speaking, they figure that you go through several reincarnations
Oh, really?
before you reach the level that makes you eligible for salvation.
Oh. So one doesn't know how far along they are when they.
No.
Oh, it's a surprise. One of my physicians is from India, and she wants to come back as a cow.
Oh, well, there's a reason for that.
Oh, and when I was in the hospital once, I said, I'm not ready to be a cow yet.
Well, I should say that cows are considered more or less sacred in
Yes.
northern India.
Is that why they don't eat meat also?
They, well, they do eat meat, but they won't eat the meat of the cow.
Oh.
They'll eat the meat of other animals.
Oh, I didn't know.
The cow is a very docile animal and easy to take care of, and it provides milk. And when it dies, you use the skin for leather.
Oh, correct.
And
Don't the bodies go in the water or something if they're? I heard something about when they're dead.
don't know
or,
what,
I don't know what that
I don't know
story
what that
was
is either.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I have to because I don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
neither do I. Somebody mentioned that was from India. I don't know.
Well, it's one of the very interesting things about India is the attitude toward animals, especially in the north. You walk along the streets of Delhi and you see, what I call the sanitation department, a group of pigs, and they eat up all the garbage in the area. And the camels wander along, through. And you look up at the buildings, and on the roofs there are monkeys playing around. And you walk along any of the roads leading out from the city, and there are peacocks on either side of the road. They're spreading their tails, and they look beautiful and elegant.
Sure. Yeah,
and the impression you get, I think, is that the animals have as much right to be here as we do, and we're really sharing the earth, so we should be nice to one another.
That's interesting.
In fact, when I came home and got off the plane and went and took a cab, to go to my home in Evanston, I was looking in the streets and wondering where all the animals were.
Oh, you got so used to it.
You get
I don't think I'd like it there. I'm afraid I don't.
And, it just looks very strange.
Yeah.
So.
So that was your trip then?
That was no. Then we went down the Ganges to Varanasi, and they have what they call ghats, which are a series of steps leading down to the river, because the Indians believe that, first of all, that they should wash themselves in the river each day. And secondly, if the best place to die is at Varanasi. So it's a bustling community.
What is it? What's the name of it?
Varanasi.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that at all. Probably most
No, it's
people
not
aren't.
commonly spoken of.
How long was that trip in entirety?
All told, it was 3 weeks.
Oh, quite a long time, actually.
Well, you have to, go in different places.
And did you stay at a hotel or?
Some of the time, but a lot of the time we stayed in local villages, and whatever guest house they had is where we stayed.
What is the property? Old, new, modern,
No, most of it is pretty old. That's why I said that I couldn't do it now, but I could do it 30 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, so
that was the first trip.
Yeah, okay.
The second trip was to Kerala.
That's Calcutta?
No.
Oh, it's a sea, though. That's all I remembered.
Yeah, no, it's, there used to be, there is a city, it used to be called Cochin. And it's on the southwest tip of the Indian.
Do you have any pictures of the area?
I have, yes, I have a picture of the dance that is traditional there, which is Kathakali, and I have a picture of that.
Oh, good.
It's a very, very, it's slow and very graceful movements, and it's usually one or several people with this special makeup on and special costumes. And
it's getting a little bigger now, the picture.
So I found
Did you ever do the dance?
I couldn't do it, but I enjoyed watching it.
Oh, yeah.
It was really very, very pretty.
Yeah, I'm sure. And what cities are in this area?
Well, the only one that I remember is Cochin. And the reason I remember it is that there used to be a a medium-sized settlement of Jewish people there. They came there after the Jews were expelled from Spain in the
quite a while ago.
1490s.
Yeah.
And they set up shops and other things there.
And I heard they have synagogues in India
Yes,
too.
we visited one synagogue that still remained.
Oh.
A very, very pretty one. It was small, but the floor was of all blue and white Dutch tiles.
Oh.
And it was
Sounds
really
pretty, yeah.
a very, very pretty.
Yeah.
When I was there, what happened was that when the state of Israel was created in 1947, almost all the Jewish inhabitants of Cochin picked up en masse and moved to Israel.
Oh, really?
So when I was there were only 28 Jews left.
Oh, really? Why? Because they just wanted to be in Israel, or because?
Yes, they wanted to.
But they still liked living in India, right? Or,
Well, the ones who remained liked living in India, and now there are, I understand, about 500 Jews living there, because when a lot of Jews left Myanmar or Burma, some of them came to Cochin. Moved west, others moved east to Singapore and whatever. So, it was interesting.
Yeah, when you said how many Jews, was that just in that area or all of it, India?
No, in that area.
Oh, yeah,
in that
yeah.
area. But I really don't know where the other Jews live.
Do they follow like conservative and reformed, or is it their
I don't
own?
know. I really don't
But
know.
the language is in their language, though, right?
So,
in Indian language.
Yeah, well,
The services, I mean, are.
as far as I know, they're in Hebrew.
Oh yeah, Hebrew.
Yeah.
I forgot about the main language. Yeah. Of
So
the
that
Jews.
was very interesting.
Yeah.
And Kerala also, we went on a houseboat.
Oh.
There's some sort of marshy areas that are, and just pleasant to float through. So we did that.
Is India right next to Pakistan?
Well, in the northern area, yes, because Pakistan was formed after India got its independence, and then the country was split or partitioned.
Oh.
And originally, you had Pakistan was divided into two sections. There was West Pakistan and East Pakistan. And then East Pakistan eventually declared its independence of West Pakistan, and it's now known as Bangladesh. Yeah.
Quite a difference between India and Pakistan in politics, right, and everything else.
Yeah,
what a difference! Yeah.
When they split the subcontinent, I think several million people had to cross the border because a lot of the Muslims in India wanted to go to Pakistan, and a lot of Hindus who lived in what is now Pakistan wanted to come back to India.
Oh, that's interesting.
So,
yeah.
The first civilization in the subcontinent is something called the Indus River civilization, and it's now in Pakistan. There were two old cities that developed, Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, and that was the first Indian empire, if you will.
Oh.
But now it's in Pakistan.
Oh.
So.
Yeah.
And
And
that was the second trip.
when was that now?
That was in 2001.
Oh, okay.
And then the third trip.
How long were you? How long was the second trip?
Oh, that was also about 3 weeks.
When you went there, did you just go to India or other countries also?
India was enough. I mean, just one section
you
of
were
India
younger,
was.
maybe.
No. There's just too much to see. There really is.
Oh,
if you're going to.
Do they speak English too there?
English is the second official language of the country. Hindi is the main language. English is the second. And English is used mostly for business, politics, and in the colleges for higher education. In addition to that, there are a number of local languages spoken, I think something like either 15 or 20,
Really?
somewhere
Oh.
like that. So most Indians speak 2 languages, and some of them speak 3 languages.
I know so many of them are, when my mother was on a respirator in the hospital, so many respiratory therapists were from India.
Yes, they have,
And doctors also.
yeah, they pay a lot of attention to science in their educational system. So a lot of the people who graduate are trained scientists.
Yeah, there
or
was quite a few,
assistants.
almost entirely in
So-
that profession. I mean, at the hospital, long-term
yeah.
hospital. Yeah.
And then the 3rd trip, which was just, 5 years ago, went to Gujarat, which is the area that sticks out in the west.
Oh,
And that was interesting because, first of all, I never realized how, not dependent, but I never was aware of the relationship between the Indians in Gujarat and the Arabians in Saudi Arabia. Gujarat ships a lot of food over to Saudi Arabia.
oh, really?
Yeah, and I, hadn't known anything about that before I went.
So are they still doing it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. The thing that impressed me the most about Gujarat was, if you will, the contrast between the old and the new. I remember one scene, there was a troop of cows coming down the road, and a young man who was going to cross the road stopped to let the cows go through, and then he pulled out his iPhone and started talking. And the contrast between
I ask people the time when I don't have a watch. Everybody has to look at their phone. Nobody wears watches anymore. The poor jewelers. I forgot to put one on. I had to ask twice at Target today what time it was because I had to catch a bus back, So, okay. Now, did you say the former Bombay is in this area?
Mumbai is further south along the west coast.
Oh, so when did you go to that city?
To Mumbai, that was probably the 2nd trip. On the way back from Kerala, we stopped at Mumbai.
Is that the biggest city? Or no?
I think Delhi has the largest
yeah, I worked with
population.
people from Delhi and from Bombay. That's what they were. Bombay was Bombay.
Yes,
Bombay.
that was then.
Okay, and where did you visit on your 3rd trip?
Well, that's what I said. In Gujarat.
Oh, yeah.
The area at the west.
And how long were you there?
That was, I think, just 2 weeks.
Oh.
That was a smaller area.
Oh, and what did you do when you were there visiting? Well, I mean, what was the features of that trip?
Well, as I said, the contrast between the old and the new was, it was in many respects, people observing old customs and using new equipment. They do a lot of science education in their schools.
That's where they do.
Yeah. And, but I think that the most beautiful parts of India were on my first trip in Rajasthan, because that's where the Taj Mahal and the Red Fort are. And the Taj Mahal is really, it's the most beautiful building I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Well, first of all, it's beautifully proportioned. It's exactly the same in height as it is in width.
Oh,
and it has these 4 minarets, one at each corner.
Also, it was planned.
And it's made of marble with jewels inset in
Oh,
patterns
really?
on it.
I would have never guessed all that.
And it was, yeah, I went up the steps leading to the, I don't know what you'd call it, the path going to it. And I literally stopped and just looked at it for about 4 or 5 minutes. It's just beautiful. I don't know how else to
If
describe
you
it as.
were able to ever go back, that would be
I would,
the area?
I would like I wouldn't mind, let's say I wouldn't mind seeing the Taj Mahal again.
Yeah.
It is just lovely.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Red Fort is a very interesting structure made of red sandstone.
Oh.
Very beautiful. And various other
Did you say that's where Delhi's in that area?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all around,
Yeah.
around the Delhi area. The only problem is that air pollution has increased in India over the last few years. So if you have any respiratory problems, you may have to wear a face mask.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just as you do in Beijing in China.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is that from?
Well, air pollution from the factories.
Oh, I
They
see.
build, they build factories, and factories throw off carbon.
Right, yeah.
And the
Do
carbon.
a lot of Americans visit India?
Yes. Yes.
Probably other than China or Japan, probably one of the most popular areas.
Well, it certainly is one of the most. I don't know the exact
Yeah,
figures,
sure.
but it certainly is. There's just so much to see, and each area is different. For example, you
sounds
see
like-
all these animals, but they're mostly in the north. When you go to the south, you see practically no
Oh,
animals.
that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, the reason is that a group called Aryans moved into India in around 1300 or something like that, and they pushed the original inhabitants, the Dravidians, south. So you have two different cultures and a variety of languages. So
Yeah, so very interesting.
Yeah.
It's just so much to see, and it's
Tremendous
just so
things.
different, all the different areas.
yes, each area is
Is
very
that the
distinct.
favorite country you visited, or one of them?
Yes,
anyway?
I think so. I think it's the favorite country. It's also the country where I had the only spiritual experience of my life. I was walking along the road, and all of a sudden, I got the feeling that life had always been like this, and it would always continue to go along, and you should go with the flow and just, enjoy
So have you
yourself.
followed
Enjoy
that?
whatever.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, it was very
It
interesting.
sounds very interesting. People should really visit there.
It's a fascinating country.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
can get there for some of the holidays, I recommend that because I miss them, but they have several holidays where people get all dressed up and painted, and and
Yeah,
it's
I know
quite
my
spectacular.
her daughter got married there. They live here, but they went there. They're
Yeah.
very religious, yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I recommend it to you.
Okay,
really liked
maybe
it.
you'll lead a tour.
I can't ride camel anymore.
Oh, no.
No way.
Oh, you could show them how. Tell them
I
what
can
to
tell
do.
them how. Yes,
Yeah,
but I
right.
can't demonstrate.
Oh, yeah, I imagine. It's not very comfortable.
No, it wasn't.
I never heard of woolen underpants, but I guess.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it itchy?
I don't remember. It's a good question.
Yeah, you were having such a good time. So.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it tremendously.
So, well, this has really been a fascinating half hour now, hearing all about India. And I guess we're at a close almost already.
Okay.
But we'll talk a few more minutes. And so we recommend people seeing that.
yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I used to work for a travel agency, but I never wanted to fly. I'd cancel all the flights. But now when I
Well-
have to pay, I fly.
Flying is not pleasant nowadays.
No, and
You have-
especially nowadays. I don't know, it seems like.
Oh,
I
you
don't
have the
know, but-
long waits at the check-ins and.
Oh, yeah, everything, yeah,
It's
so-
not pleasant anymore.
Okay, thank you
That's
so
it.
much for coming, and we'll
Very
think about
welcome. It
another
was a
country
pleasure.
again.
And yes,
very
I'd be
good.
very happy to.
You should be tell people and be a travel something.